I was good. So today, actually, I want to switch it up. I actually want to do something I've actually never done before on my channel. So yesterday, I made a community post on my community tab, and I was asking for people's hot takes or, differing opinions or controversial opinions on anime slash JJK. A lot of you guys know me as a JJK channel, but also you guys know that I do other stuff as well. Like I literally just made a Bleach video yesterday. So I want to keep things fresh. I want to do things that I usually don't normally do since, JJK, the anime is actually coming to an end on its second season next week. So I want, obviously toss some things in there that I usually don't do. And I got some very interesting replies. So we're gonna be going through them. I'm not even gonna put a pause on that. Let's get started, man. I'm curious. So I started off with the first one. I said, I'll give y'all one. I'm more excited for Kaiju number 8 than My Hero Academia for next year. And listen, I'm standing on business on that. Okay. I am so mentally dejected from My Hero. Like, I'll see some cool stuff in there. I'll see a cool panel of something that's going on. I'm like, that's cool, sick, whatever. But like, it has not had the same flair or magic that it did the first 4 seasons. Dude, Overhaul versus Deku, I was so hype week to week seeing that fight. Kirishima versus the guy who loves to fight. He has like the eagle head. I forget what his name is. Loved that fight, man. Absolutely loved that fight. I loved that whole Overhaul arc. And then just like going into like My Villain Academia and all this other stuff. And like this past trailer looks almost exactly like the trailer for last season with the whole quote unquote war thing. And also just like they're ruining a lot of my favorite panels. And I get, it's hard because Hirokoshi's art style is so detailed. It's so good. But even still, the animation isn't really great considering they have such a shit schedule. So, Kaiju number 8 definitely looks fire. I read a little bit of the manga, but I'm definitely excited for that. We have One Love PH. I feel like Gege's style of writing is the opposite of Ichiro Oda's style. That is One Piece author, I believe. And in some sense served as a response to that style of writing in general. Gege prioritizes fights with well-written, fleshed-out power systems, and the intrigue of the fights normally come from the interaction of the powers and the nuances within the strategy employed. In One Piece, those fights are used to build narrative tension, and usually the intrigue comes from the character moments that stem from them being challenged in the midst of battle. This causes the power system to be a lot less defined as it gives characters the opportunity to evolve and grow congruent to the narrative's demands in order to overcome obstacles. Normally, I would say I ain't reading all that, but actually, I need to for this video. But I'm actually liking what this person's wrote so far. Now, with One Piece, the focus is the world building as a whole, and a big aspect of that focus are the characters that fill specific roles in the story. Each character has an individual personality, background, and will, and Oda interweaves these characters into the foundation of their world in order to give the world itself a character. Therefore, each character has their own purpose, and you rarely see him kill a character without reason because they represent the world itself and characterize the world they live in. Compare this with Gege, who uses aspects of his world to shape his characters. The Jujutsu world is similar to a meat grinder for its characters, as it forces them to adapt and change to survive, and characters who don't grasp that change or evolve in the process are normally discarded. I see that. I can see it. I see the vision. Let me keep reading this. Hence why he's more comfortable with death, because most characters are more of a vessel for their powers. Not to say there isn't characterization, I can't read, but most of it is displayed through battle or via narrative significance determined through the in-world power scaling. There are way more interesting comparisons to be made. This isn't to say Gege wrote JJK to oppose One Piece, just as an interesting observation by a huge fan of both series. This is actually really well written. Wow, good job, dude. Wow. So I see what you mean. There's a lot more focus on specifically how a lot of these, like how reverse curse technique works and how these different abilities play out and how they affect each character. Like, you even have that question that Geto asked Gojo, like, are you Satoru Gojo because you're strong, or are you strong because you're Satoru Gojo? You know what I mean? I see what he's saying with that. Even like Hikari's ability, most of the time when we associate characters in JJK, we associate them with their abilities firsthand. Like Toto's Boogie Woogie, or Yuki's whatever have you, right? Star Rage or Bombaye, I think is what it's called. But we have all these things, and now obviously, like a lot of other series, you'll do that as well. You'll associate a character with their ability, but not really. I feel like in other series you associate them more so with like strong narrative moments and things like that. I don't know, like if I were to think of, I don't know, Minato from Naruto, I think of his effect that he had on Obito. I think of his fight that he did have with Obito in the past, where he goes through him and hits him with the Rasengan. That's cool, but that's not even his like peak power, you know what I mean? But these are just like moments that I think of, or like when Minato saves Naruto from getting stabbed as a baby, and he flashes through his hand or whatever. Like that's sick, right? But with JJK, it's more so focused on the power scaling aspect of it, and like even so, look at Gojo and Sukuna with their domain expansion fight, right? We had like throughout that 12 chapter fight, they had like what 4 domain expansion clashes, and a lot of those chapters are made up of, okay, well, how is Gojo's domain going to interact with Sukuna's is stronger. Sukuna's doesn't have a barrier, Gojo's does. Gojo needs to be able to hit Sukuna with a domain expansion, and then have Sukuna bleeding from his eyes because he actually got hit with it, even though he tried to transfer to Megumi Soul. Blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? But I see what he's saying. Actually, this is not a hot take. This is just a very good. Actually, just a very good, well thought out opinion. This isn't a hot take at all. I will leave a heart on that comment. I really like that. These are not all going to be that long. I just really like what this person said. Don't know if this is really all that controversial, but Nobara should have won against Haruta, or at least challenged him more than she did. She still should die at the hands of Mahito, but having her win against him would just be an extra cherry on her character. One last win before the unfortunate. I mean, like, here's the thing. Haruta's a pretty nothing character as it is. Like, he was made for you to hate him. You know what I mean? Like, he's a creep. He's weird. So I don't really know if her getting this dub on this loser is gonna really do anything. I mean, like, even when Nanami smacked him up in the manga, like, I was just kind of like, I was kind of indifferent. Like, it made Nanami look cool, but I mean, Haruta's not really all that, you know what I mean? So I don't really know if she would benefit too much from getting a win on, like, it's like if, I don't know, if like Midoriya was like fighting some like random street level villains, and then like, oh, it's right before his battle with, I don't know, Shigaraki or something like that, like, who cares? You know what I mean? Well, that's actually kind of a disingenuous argument. Ignore that. That doesn't really make sense. Keep that in the video. I'm a human being. I make mistakes. Here are my few takes from JJK that nobody agrees with. All right. We got to get you some punctuation, brother. All right. I think Nobara dying wasn't really a bad thing. It just adds to the brutality of the world of JJK. I don't think that's a bad take. I agree. Only thing is, I wish would have had more time with Nobara, because I was like, what, chapter 120, I think is when she died. 120, 119 off the top of my head. But we really didn't see a whole lot of them interacting. Kind of a shame. And it shows another thing. I think the JJK anime isn't too rushed, but could definitely improve. Another thing, I think also the story is only going to get better from here on out. Okay, the story's only get better from here on out. Okay, I mean that's to be expected. We kind of know where the story is going. A lot of people aren't a big fan of the culling games, but actually I really enjoy the culling games. It just sucked to read week to week. Also, another thing, I really love the symbolism of Yuji being the chosen one, because in order most shows to win and survive, you have to have a lot of plot armor to progress the story. I'm kind of confused what you're saying here. I don't really know what Mr. Zachariah Lude is saying here. I love the symbolism of Yuji being the chosen one, because in order most shows, Yuji doesn't really have plot armor like that. I mean, like, here's the thing is, like, if anybody else fought Chozo, they would have died, except maybe like Todo or like, I don't know, Megumi, because God forbid he summons Mahoraga for that. That would really suck. But I mean, like, I don't know. Yuji's like, he's a cog, right? Like, and he said this multiple times, especially in his first interaction with Hikari. But Yuji's doesn't have like plot armor or anything. I don't really think so. There hasn't been an instance where I was like, oh, this is Yuji lived. This is bullshit. I never really had that. Razor7635. Yuji was a great character from Jump. I disagree, actually. I don't know if that could be considered a hot take, but Yuji definitely felt kind of bland. He just definitely felt kind of like good, generally speaking. You know what I mean? It was until like post Shibuya where I really started enjoying Yuji as a character. You know, his "I'm you" speech to Mahito was definitely those like defining things, and his him, you know, saying I'll take on Nanami's fair share of suffering as well. One thing that actually I don't like, we definitely needed more time with Nanami and Yuji, because that's one thing that definitely kind of felt flat to me, is that they didn't really have that mentor relationship as much. You know what I mean? Like, Gege had that panel of like Yuji walking with Nanami, but they didn't really have that many interactions. I don't know, it was weird. Maybe I need to reread or rewatch season 1, but they never felt that close to me. You know what I mean? Plague holder. Yaga telling Gakuganji about how to make Panda is going to be brought up again. We find out exactly where Nobara has been. What? 3 souls in sync. Her flashback had 2 other characters in sync with hers or friends. She's been missing now for like 2-3 months in universe, and Yaga says it takes about 3 months for a cursed corpse to form sentient. This is a crazy theory. Wow. I need to check the math on that 2-3 months in universe. I know it. Well, no, it probably was because because Gojo said he would fight Sukuna 2 months after. I mean, I don't know about what Gakuganji, but Nobara's in a cursed corpse. Like what would her soul be transferred into? Like Panda was fresh. Like Panda and his brother, the gorilla and the Triceratops. Those are like actual like mutations that were made. Like they weren't like previous souls or anything. You know what I mean? I don't think there's much validity to this. I like the theory. This is like really out of the box. I like it. Kid, do your thing. I'm gonna let you cook, but I disagree. And I'll give it a love though. I'll leave a little heart. I think a lot of effort were placed in there. I like it. We have Balygong 3592. If Gege headed Gojo for being absolutely busted and being difficult to include in the story, Gege should have tried bringing in another Gojo member with Limitless. Perhaps this time, instead of having them broken because Limitless and 6 Eyes, Gege can have just them with Limitless in order to balance the ability. The thought that went into Limitless, if I were a writer, I wouldn't be wasting such a cool ability, especially if most of the fights are straight up boxing. I don't know. So here's the thing: the 6 Eyes themselves are kind of so the 6 Eyes themselves and Limitless, like they make up Gojo's entire power set. You know what I mean? Like, and that seems kind of obvious, but the thing is that like if you just had one or the other, there would be like massive holes. Which is fine because obviously we know the 6 Eyes, they see curse energy at like a molecular level. But hold on, that's 6 Eyes is not where Gojo gets his red and his blue from. Am I making that up? Yeah, Limitless is where he gets the. Okay, yeah, I'm an idiot. Okay, no, I'm right. All right, so yeah, honestly, bro, the 6 Eyes isn't that important. Like they're good, but like if Gojo literally just had Limitless and like nothing else, I mean he'd be fine-ish. He would definitely have struggled way more with this fight against Sukuna, I will tell you that. He would probably be dead real quick, but I mean, it's also Sukuna, this, woo, my goat! But, yeah. Interesting, though. I see what you're saying. I don't like the prospect of bringing more members in from the Gojo clan. I would like to see them, but I don't really need to see any more of these, freaks. I'm good. We have Nick Walk, 94. Okay. Also, I think Geto's group should have been the antagonist in the main story instead of a prequel, and this spends too much time introducing new characters instead of taking time to focus on the main trio. Geto's group, are you referring to the 2 girls? I forget what their names are. Like the guys like the heart nipples and Miguel and them. I mean, I could see it. I could see the vision on that. Someone said it's not a prequel. Jujutsu was published before the main series because of the pilot. I mean, even like in the movie, they didn't do anything, which is really weird. I mean, I feel like that was like some budgetary restraints or something. But I see what you're saying. I like the villains we got. I don't think I like the prospect of having curses as primary antagonists for the first 100 chapters or so. I like that more than having human antagonists. Like I love Hanami and Jogo and Mahito and them. I don't know if I would really take them or take these human characters over them. So yeah.